Mahabharata, Chapter 20, Bakasura. After spending some more months in the forest, the Pandavas met sage Vyasa. Remember the genealogy? Vyasa was the first son born to Satyavati. Satyavati was King Shantanu's second wife. Effectively, Vyasa was Bhishma's half-brother and in a way was the grandfather of the Pandavas. Vyasa addressed the Pandavas. Dear sons of Pandu, I know of the injustice and harm you have been subject to. However, this is an opportunity for you to learn the ways of the world and gain much wisdom. Go and spend your time in the town of Ekachakra. Disguise yourself as poor Brahmanas. Let the Kauravas continue to think that you are dead. Do not despair or seek revenge. Your time will come. Taking Vyasa's advice, the Pandavas and Kunti, pretending to be Brahmanas, stayed in a poor Brahmana's house in Ekachakra. During their stay, they learnt more Vedas and gained more wisdom. Every day, the 5 Pandavas would go out seeking alms, which is a way that poor Brahmanas used to collect food from different houses. In that era, it was considered to be a blessing for a household if a Brahmana approached them for food. A Brahmana was considered to be a virtuous and realized soul, and thus feeding one was an honor. It was not considered as begging. On returning home, the Pandavas would give their daily collection of food to Kunti, who would divide it into 2 equal halves. One half was given entirely to Bhima, for his appetite was enormous. The other half was split equally between Kunti and the other 4 Pandavas. In such a way, they lived their life in Ekachakra. Let's pause a moment here to reflect. The Pandavas were wronged by the Kauravas. That was obvious. They were attempted to be killed, burnt alive even. They were robbed of a kingdom that was rightfully theirs. They were driven out of a land where the people loved them. Before all this happened, they were princes, living in a kingdom. Now they were fugitives in disguise. They had every right to feel angry. We all go through this emotion at some time or the other. The feeling of being wronged. The feeling of being at the receiving end of injustice. A brother might feel that his parents give more importance to their firstborn when he is obviously more talented. A wife may feel that her husband favors his parents more than her while she toils for the family and receives nothing in return. A student may feel that a teacher has a rival favorite student. A son beats his mother. A wife leaves her husband. A boyfriend cheats on you. A friend betrays your trust. A boss doesn't recognize your effort. A colleague takes undue credit, and several more examples. In any of these situations, it is natural to feel angry, to feel injustice, to feel wronged. But if we look deeper, the feeling of injustice stems from an even deeper feeling, the feeling of entitlement. We only feel wronged when we feel we are entitled to a benefit that we did not receive. Are we really entitled to anything? Our education was a gift by our parents. Our upbringing was based on an environment we were born into. Certain incidents happened at certain times to enable that special meeting with our future wife or husband. We happened to utter the right words at the right time to get that job. We were fortunate to have money to pay a fee for a particular education. Our very birth into a family was not our choice. If we understand this truly, we will also understand that choice is an illusion. When the most important events in our life have been driven by chance or destiny, how can we feel entitled to anything? Therefore, entitlement is also an illusion. If we learn both these concepts, that of choice and entitlement, that both these feelings are a mere illusion, we can realize that the feeling of injustice has no basis. We never had a choice in anything. Therefore, we were never entitled to any benefit. The benefits were all gifts. Thus, the injustice does not exist. In other words, pleasure and pain are cards we are dealt with. To complain about injustice is as ridiculous as complaining to a card dealer or other players in a game of poker. The Pandavas realized this true aspect and acted wisely. But they went a step further. They used this time of adversity as an opportunity to learn to live within frugal means, to learn contentment in life, to learn things that they would have never been exposed to if they had continued to live in a kingdom with princely benefits. Back to the story. One day, when Bhima and Kunti were alone at home, they heard a huge cry from the neighbor. They went in to inquire and saw that the Brahmana was weeping along with his wife, son, and daughter. The Brahmana said, "O mother of 5 children, a great misfortune has befallen us. There is a Rakshasa in the forest called Bakasura. He used to torment our town and kill many. The wise men of the village made a deal with the Rakshasa. In return for the Rakshasa to refrain from large-scale massacres and killing, the village would send 2 cartloads of food every day, along with 2 bulls. The cart would be driven by a person from the village. The Rakshasa would eat all the food, and the bulls, and the man or woman who drives the cart to him. The person to deliver the food is chosen randomly, and every family has to take a turn. Today, it is our turn. One of us has to be sacrificed. What do we do?" The Brahmana's wife joined in. "If my husband goes, then the family will surely die, as there will be no one to support us. I have decided to go, as my husband can take another wife after I go. He can also continue to support the family." The Brahmana's daughter said, "Father, one day I have to be given away to another family. I have to leave this house. Why don't I leave today? I would rather that my life be served to protect my parents and brother now than to leave one day to serve another family." Watching all this, the youngest son, a tiny kid, replied, "Father, let me go. I will kill the asura and return." The entire family started weeping again. Kunti Devi took pity on the Brahmana and addressed him. "O Brahmana, fear not. I have 5 children. They are endowed with spiritual powers. One of them will go instead of you and return safely." The Brahmana tried to protest, but Kunti assured him that her son would do the job. She only asked that the Brahmana keep this as a secret and not tell anyone. Thus, at Kunti's orders and much to his own delight, Bhimasena took the task of meeting Bakasura. Bhima took the cartload of food and rode it into the forest. He was overjoyed as he hadn't seen so much food in months. Bhima ate all the food before reaching the thickest part of the jungle where Bakasura was waiting. When Bakasura saw the cart, he eagerly approached it, but was shocked to see Bhima eating the last portion of the food that was intended for him. He was enraged. He furiously addressed Bhima. "How dare you eat the food that was meant for me? I will kill you in an instant, you fool!" The asura ran towards Bhima and dealt him a powerful blow on his back. Bhima continued eating as though nothing had happened. The asura's anger grew. He uprooted a tree and hurled it at Bhima. But Bhima caught it with one hand and threw it back at Bakasura. Bhima finished his food and jumped at the asura. A great fight ensued. Bakasura was a huge Rakshasa. He was angry. He was hungry. He hit Bhima several times. He punched him, kicked him, jabbed at him. But Bhima, the son of Vayu, was just too strong and tenacious. Bakasura caught hold of Bhima's hands and Bhima did the same. The fight became a wrestle. The earth began to tremble under the enormous strength of the two wrestlers. Bakasura tried to crush Bhima with his strength. Bhima resisted. Bakasura tried harder using all his strength. Bhima was supreme in defense. Eventually, Bakasura began to feel fatigue and Bhima took charge. Bhima pressed his knees against Bakasura's chest and pushed him down. Then he caught hold of Bakasura's throat and wrenched it until Bakasura yelled with pain and died. Bhima got up and addressed the other Rakshasas, the relatives of Bakasura. Asuras, leave the villages in peace. If not, each and every one of you will be killed. I will return if I hear a single complaint from the town. Bhima took Bakasura's body and placed it at the gate of Ekachakra and quietly returned home. The Brahmana was elated on seeing Bhima but kept his word and was silent about the real happenings. The villagers were happy that the asura was slain and imagined that a divine force had intervened and saved them. This was the story of Bakasura. The Pandavas continued to spend many more months in Ekachakra until one day a highly regarded Brahmana visited the town and spoke praises of a beautiful princess whose Swayamvara was being held nearby. The beautiful princess was Draupadi, whose story we will listen to in the next chapter.